After Hours.
On this episode of the History of the Chorus After Hours podcast, we discuss the Michael Keane-centered band known as the Faceless. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IsSurviveByPro for news and the latest episode postings. And make sure to subscribe to the show. Leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on YouTube or whatever podcast service you're using. And if you'd like to see us do some live streams, leave us a comment or tweet us the keyword stream. Now, without further ado, let's start the show.
The devil is in Atlanta. Army surrounded.
Welcome back to the History of the Chorus After Hours podcast, where each and every episode I, Curtis, sit down with my good friend and avid listener to the History of the Chorus podcast, Erik. Welcome back, Erik, to a brand new episode of the History of the Chorus After Hours podcast. Oh wait, we're doing deja vu.
Oh.
Okay, never mind.
Wait a second, I heard that once.
Somebody take the needle off the record, please. Another episode, Erik. Remind me off top. I mean, we'll get more into the band here in a moment because we got something else to take care of too. But before I forget, deathcore, are you in or are you out?
It really depends.
Okay, I couldn't really remember how you felt about deathcore, if you were into it or not. But I don't know. We'll get
Probably not my preferred cup of tea,
right.
but
Okay.
I like a lot of elements that are there.
Okay. Cool. Well,
I
before
don't know.
we
I haven't-
dive,
I haven't found that band yet that's just like
Right.
deathcore. Yes, I need
Yes.
that. I haven't found that one yet for me.
right?
You can comment down below with everything you want me to try. Go for it. Let's see what we got.
Try these deathcore bands. All right, before we get into that, though, Erik, as always, it's time for your band spotlight, where you like to bring in a little band, maybe unknown, maybe sort of known, maybe a band you saw at a concert opening up a show. Who knows? I don't know. What matters is
You
you're
will
gonna shine the spotlight on them, and then we're all gonna know about them because we're all gonna go listen to them because of you, and you can take credit for
You
that.
must.
You must. Once you hear it from my lips, you will listen. All right,
Blah, blah,
who is in your spotlight today, Erik?
Well, on the other end, since we're talking about deathcore-ish stuff, let's go to the pop punk category.
Yeah,
A little
I was
bit
about to
emo
say.
flavors mixed
Opposite
in.
end of the spectrum.
Yep, a little bit. Memorial Drive. And that is a road right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I was about to say, which
And
hits
that is the name
home
of the
pretty hard,
band.
man. I hate that road. It's always under construction.
It
It's
really
terrible.
is.
It's a terrible road.
But the band is much better than the road. I will say that.
This is true. I've enjoyed what I've listened to so far.
Yeah. So, like I said earlier, they are pop punk with some emo themes going on in there. I did say they are from Tulsa, Oklahoma. A little bit biased in the fact, it's hometown, right? But
Ain't
their
nothing
first
wrong with
single
that.
dropped in
This is
2023.
our podcast. We can do what we want.
That's true. I mean, as biased as I want.
Right.
Take that clip. So they dropped that first single, like I said, about 2 years ago now. As far as recording on Spotify, and I looked on YouTube. I didn't jump into Bandcamp or anything quite that deep yet, but they currently have 5 songs that I counted on Spotify and YouTube. I did see them last year. They were pretty good live. They truly blew me away when the lead singer got up there and started wailing. I was like, oh, wow, we're doing this. I'm impressed.
Is he just do
because
vocals?
the only-
Or does he play an instrument?
Yeah, he's just vocals. Yeah,
Okay.
just vocals.
Okay.
But a lot of the one thing that I think we've talked about it before, as far as killing pop punk, the one thing that kills it for me is bad lead vocals.
Okay.
That's the one thing that can really ruin it for
And
me.
it hangs on though, yeah.
And
That's
this guy
true. It
does
does hang
not.
on the vocals.
He
Okay.
he is good. So very solid sound, decent energy, lots of good crowd interaction. My pet peeve on that.
Right.
Um,
Yes.
yes,
And
anybody who goes to a lot of shows probably has that. But
yeah, I was thinking about it the other day because I know you and I have talked about it a lot, and I was remembering for some reason, I don't remember why. Maybe I was listening a little bit to Darkest Hour the other day, but I was just like so happy at like their performance at the Norma Jean show
oh yeah,
because they were all over the place. All three, the two guitarists and the bassist, I mean, they were all over that stage, up in your face. Vocalist
oh
stayed
yeah,
pretty much in his line, and that's cool. But he was up in the faces of, the crowd too. Drummer, he's kind of stuck. What's he supposed to do? Get
put him
on
on
a
a high
mobile
wire, turn him
drum
upside
set.
down.
Yeah, exactly. um, but then it's like Norma Jean comes out, and you and I have talked about it before when you first saw them, whatever, a year or two ago, and then this
Right.
time around, it was just really disappointed that everybody just kind of had like their like line that they just kind of walked from the back of the stage to
They
the
went
front of the stage,
up
from the back.
and down,
Yeah,
up
I
and down.
just I
Yeah.
don't like that, man. I mean, I understand they're older and they're probably, I can't move around as much as I can. My back hurts or my hips hurt or
Right.
whatever. But man, I like
Yeah.
it's so critical to me, and I know you agree because you just said it. That's like to interact with your fans at a concert is so critical, man, to me. And I don't want to pay money to go see you just stand there and just like I can just do that on a music video or something. I can go onto
Right.
YouTube and just watch you, do that or just listen to the CD and imagine it,
Yeah.
in
Go to
my own
Chuck E.
head.
Cheese and
But
watch the go up and down the slider back and forth.
yeah, exactly. I went to a Chuck
I
E.
mean,
Cheese show, man.
yeah.
Yeah. But
So
anyway, I
anyway,
interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Memorial Drive is not that way. They are, I mean, they're a little bit more in their area, but they're still new. I mean, they're
Right.
a band that's a couple years old. They don't have that, giddy energy when they get up there quite yet, but they are energetic. They do jump around. They have fun with it. Darkest Hour has been doing it for like 20 years, so
Oh my
they
gosh,
know
man.
what they're
Yeah.
doing and they're enjoying the crap out of every second.
Right.
So, anyway, I was going to say on this one, these guys and a few others like Dayseeker and some like that are riding that new wave of emo. And I know that can go too far as emo goes, but right now I'm here for it. My happy little emo heart from 2007 is all here. And I
He's
like it.
enjoying
So
it. I
I really
do.
am.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this album artwork for them. Except for their very first single, the other everything else kind of is kind of in the same category. It's almost like AI. Makes you think of like kind of AI created album artwork, kind of like painted
Well, it could be.
picture. But
They are that new, so they might be doing that
yeah,
so far.
that's kind of cool though, man. I enjoy it. I think those are some good album artworks though. But
Yeah. But anyway,
cool, man.
yep, they are pretty new, tried and true sound. I enjoy it. Well worth a listen, especially being some little guys, some local little guys. If you get a chance to see them live, I think they're better live than they are recorded. So I enjoy that. Anyway, Memorial Drive.
Ready to blast the fields with catchy emo pop punk tunes. It's a vibe trust.
Trust.
Like, nice. Okay. Okay. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, okay. I didn't know you could do multiple pictures on your bio. Oh, that's weird. Hmm. Did you know that?
I think so.
Yeah, I didn't. I never noticed that before. I clicked on their picture and it popped up with their bio, but then I didn't realize there was an arrow to go right or left, and it was showing all the different members on this
Extra
one.
pictures.
So that's cool. Cool, cool, cool. And I was gonna say I like their little logo on Spotify, the star in the circle. It makes you think of Converse. That's pretty cool, man.
Right.
Which I think
That's
fits
pretty
the
cool.
vibe of their music too. So
And then it says like Tulsa, Oklahoma on it, side by side, doesn't
yes.
it? On either
Yes.
side.
Yep.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So that makes it even better, man. Represent the 918.
Yep. Don't
All right,
hate the
man.
918.
Don't hate it, man. Skate it.
Skating that money.
Alrighty.
That's why my
Let's
knees hurt.
yeah, he's like, ah God. All right, let's head on back over to the other end of the spectrum here, man. Back over
Oh,
to
yes.
little deathcore. Because today, Eric, we are talking about the band known as the Faceless. So as always, like to start with two basic questions to get a feel of the band with you and your relationship with said band. So first question is, oh, hold on one second. Oop, wait a minute. There we go. Okay. First question is, how were you, Eric, introduced to the band known as the Faceless?
First, look behind you.
What was it?
The death, it's still natural.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Anyway,
thank you. Hold up, wait a minute. How were
there
you
we
introduced to
go.
this band?
There we go.
That
So
wouldn't be the first
I've
time, not gonna
heard
be
the
the
name,
last.
never really listened to him. I might have heard things like Hideous Revelation, um, but that's about the only thing that really rang a bell for me. And I was listening to the discography, that monologue thing with something like music behind it at parts. I I don't know if I've heard that exact thing before or something just like it, but that rang a bell, and I was like, "Oh, hold on a second." So I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah, did I not tell you that I was cool enough with the band to well the band, I guess with Michael Keane now to find out that their next album is a cover of Horse the Band's Natural Death, but in deathcore style.
Nice.
So he's all
As
gonna
long
be
as they have a
like
little bit of Nintendo.
he's gonna be all like face of bear with face to face. Like, all right, this is terrible. This is horrible to listen to. All right, yeah. Back on track here with the Faceless. How would you,
Ooh.
Eric, describe the Faceless to a brand new listener?
Outside the early stuff, which is pretty much just straight deathcore,
Mm,
it's I would say technical death metal with some flavors of like progressiveness and prog and whatever you want to call that.
yeah, I agree.
But there is a
Almost.
definite difference between that first album and then the next couple for sure.
Something about his clean vocals when he starts singing, I start thinking, am I listening to the radio right now? I don't know why, but he kind of gives his clean vocals give me like a radio rock feel. Like, that's just me.
Yeah.
It's just me, man. Just me. All right. Quick question for you, Eric. I mean, I just got to ask us straight up front because me and Josh talked about it. But how are you feeling on the use of the vocoder by guitarist Michael Keane?
It is interesting. As a whole, I don't really hate it. And I don't think it's any stranger than some of the early sound bites that they have going on and bits of odd instrumentation that they have later on.
They're not telling us everything about Area 51, man.
Yeah, that stuff. So, I mean, it kind of suits what they're doing. I don't know, especially the end of, oh man, I just lost it. Hold on. Is it Ancient Covenant, I think, at the end?
Yes. Yeah, it's
So it really fits that song pretty well.
yes.
It
See, and
definitely,
that's
it doesn't like, it pulls me out a little bit just enough to say, oh, this is different. Why is this different? I think it's done on purpose, though. It's not done in a way that it pulls you out and it's like, it pulls you out and drops you. Like some bands will
right.
pull you out of the album and then it drops and you're like, oh, why'd you do that to me? I didn't like that.
Right.
This
See,
one, it wants to unsettle you, which is the idea. And
right.
that's what it does is it, oh, jolts you. What is that? So I kind of like it in that category, especially.
Yes. I liked it in that song because he's for me it was a deal of I agree with what you're saying, but it also for me it was a deal of he was singing at that time. So it kind of fit more. Whereas when he
Right.
used it in the song Akeldama at the end of Akeldama, he was just doing like a spoken word thing. And the way he was like, his cadence and his rhythm to me were just like, bleh. I'm just like, please, let's do something else, man. Please. So I think with the storyline and then singing with it, a
Right.
couple with the storyline, what you're saying on planetary duality, I think it fits on
Oh yeah.
ancient covenant for sure, man. So is ancient covenant or is it? Oh man. Okay,
I
hold
think
on.
it's
I'm
Ancient
gonna,
Covenant. I'm pretty
I
sure.
think you're right, as I felt like it was that early. Yeah, it is. Okay.
Okay. I was thinking so.
Yes. So I'm trying to. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yep. You're right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. Yep. Cool. All right, Eric. Well, this is pretty basic. I mean, we have two sides of this band, their discography, basically. You already said it. It begins with their first two albums, the deathcore sounds of Akeldama, which clocks in at, surprisingly, this is one thing that really surprised me when I first started looking this band up was their first two albums are very quick. Akeldama clocks in at 33 minutes and 18 seconds. I mean, that was like, for a deathcore band, I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. But Eric, this album wastes no time introducing the listener to brutal vocals of Derek Rydquist and the sweet riffs of Michael Keane with songs like An Autopsy, Pestilence, Horizons of Chaos 1 and 2, and The Ghost of a Stranger. Now, just 2 years later, the band would go extraterrestrial with 2008's Planetary Duality. Dubbed as Josh's accessibility point in their discography, for a brand new listener, this album takes the knob and cranks it to an 11, coming in hard with Prison Born, Ancient Covenant, Xenochrist, and Planetary Duality 1 and 2. What are your thoughts, Eric, on the deathcore sounds of Akeldama and Planetary Duality?
Not too bad. It's pretty cleanly recorded and mixed first album. I mean, it's not a garage band quality first album for sure.
We'll give it to Michael Keane. He's a
Especially
good
for the
producer
mid
too.
2000s.
Yes, yeah.
Like I was thinking about that time period. What was this? 2006, I think, when this came out.
Yeah, 2006. Yep.
So I mean, that's pretty clean for that era in this type of vein of things, compared to a lot of things
Excuse
we've
me.
listened to.
Well, Akeldama is 2006. Planetary Duality
Okay,
is 2008. There we go. Sorry. Just
okay.
want to clear that up.
So yeah, 2006. That's pretty clean for that era of anything metal, honestly,
Especially being your first album or two, you know.
and being your first album too. Yeah, very clean comparatively. Um, oh, the vocals in that have some like old school Bring Me the Horizon vibes with some
Okay.
hints of like a Job for a Cowboy on the low side.
Yeah.
Musically, I think it's the tempo and like the little sound clips give me some weird flavors like I Wrestled a Bear Once or something like that.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
all three or four of those that I mentioned had a weird baby, it might be
Ew.
this album. Yeah,
That's
it's
an
a little
ugly
weird,
baby.
but a little bit ugly, but it kind of works in a way. That second album, a little more of a shift to the technical sound as a whole. Lows are more traditional death metal now. Uh, at least that's the best way I found to describe them. They change a little
Okay.
bit, and that's about the best way I could think to put it. Cleans on this one, you were saying something like radio friendly. There's this cadence and this vibrato to it that makes me think of Coheed and Cambria, Claudio. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just at
Well,
times it gives me that I'm like, what am I listening to again?
yeah, the problem I have is when I said what I said earlier, that's more for like the second half of their discography when there's a
Right.
lot more clean vocals. Because I told
A whole
Josh with
lot.
these first two albums, clean vocals are very sparse. And
Yeah.
I think that when they are used, he puts them in. I mean, he places them in very nicely,
Right.
and they work there.
Brick
And
by
so it's
brick.
like, right, exactly. So when I get to these next couple of albums, and it's a lot of clean singing, and Michael Keane's taking over full control of everything, and it just like I'm listening to it, and that's where I'm kind of like, is my radio on right now? What's happening? Yeah,
Yeah.
but
But even back then, those cleans were kind of radio friendly cleans. The rest of it
yeah,
around it may not be absolutely, but
right. No, it's his style for sure is
yeah.
what it makes it that.
But
But
like you
I
said, the
just feel
older
like
stuff,
it's
this one it
more
fits.
right. I just feel like it becomes more the forefront because he does more clean vocals then, whereas now in these first two, he's just kind of tucking them in every once in a while, and they're placed nicely as a good little break from Derek's unclean vocals. So yeah. Did you have anything else for those two albums, Eric?
Pretty much it. Yeah. Like I said, just that weird thought in my head that his cleans did make me think of that
A little
Claudio.
Coheed cadence. Okay. Okay.
So
That's kind of
I
interesting.
don't know what song it was that really caught me. I was like, that vibrato really, that's what caught me.
All
Yeah, I don't
righty.
know what it
Well,
was.
Eric, it's been a little bit, but it's time for a trivia question, Eric.
Woo!
One of your favorite things to do on this podcast.
May failure emanate.
Yeah. All right, here we go. For their latest album to date, that is 2017's In Becoming a Ghost, Michael Keane that is, would turn to new unclean vocalist Ken Sorceron, who is a member of what black metal band, Eric?
Sorceron, Burgeron.
You got it.
Mm-hmm.
He's on it. He's on the trail. The
Yep,
Bloodhound's on
and
the
I don't.
trail, man.
I can smell it.
He's got the scent, boys. Come on.
Ah, man. And the scent is there, but my brain is starting to
Oh, boy.
whitewash here. It's great. If you ever
Oh,
wondered, this is
man.
how school went for me. It was wonderful time.
School sucked, man.
The teacher would sit there. Eric, oh,
Huh?
what? I don't know. I was listening until you just said that. Now I'm gone.
She put the spotlight
But,
on him. Now he's putting the spotlight on other bands. What a
yes.
world we live in.
Ooh. Anyway, yeah. It's definitely a band. I'm pretty sure we've gone over them.
Oh, we may have. We may have. It's a good chance.
I'm pretty sure we have, and I just can't quite pull it off my tongue.
Hey, venture a guess.
I don't even know that I can get the words right
Can't
here.
even throw a name out.
Is that that? I can get?
Memorial Drive?
Yes, that's the one. Definitely.
It is
Ah,
Abigail Williams.
yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
See, I have a memory of going down a certain road, down the highway, listening to Abigail Williams and hearing the word, sorceron. I'm like, oh yeah, that's that. Yeah, but it was not coming to me.
Yeah, come on. All right. Well, here's where things get a little interesting, Eric. Listen up, Josh, because this is the point where we're gonna our answers to some questions that we had, some questions and concerns at the end of the episode. So here we go. Major lineup changes would occur after release of Planetary Duality and beyond, as Michael Keane would remain as the only founding member of the band. Basically, what I'm saying is, this is where he's taking full control, writing all of the material. 2012's release, Autotheism, would showcase more unclean vocals by Michael Keane, turning from the straight deathcore styles of the first two releases into more progressive death metal. Still featuring uncleans by new vocalist Jeff Fico, the band, as in Keane, would turn out songs like Autotheist Movement 1, 2, and 3, which features a saxophone solo on number 3. I don't know about you, Eric, but I didn't have that on my Faceless bingo card, so yeah. We also have 10 Billion Years, Hail Science, and Hymn of Sanity, as Josh felt the first three movements were too long and overplayed, while the middle of the album draws back to some similar sounds of their previous release. And he described the overall theme of the album by saying, quote, "Tell me you're an atheist without telling me you're an atheist." Hmm.
Too late. He already
Five,
did.
yeah,
Anyway.
too late. 5 years later, after more lineup changes, the band, or Michael Keane, would release In Becoming a Ghost, which in my opinion had potential just by looking at the album cover, which, hold on, I had it here. This.
Oh.
This thing. Ooh. Yeah, it had potential, in my opinion, by just looking at the album cover, but in the end, felt like a major disappointment to both Josh and myself, as Keane would dish out tracks like In Becoming a Ghost, Digging the Grave, Black Star, I Am, and The Terminal Breath. Overall, this half of the discography was not our favorite by a long shot, Eric. Josh and I both wondered, though, the same question. Would Eric enjoy this half of the discography more than we did? What is the verdict?
It's the best ever. No,
Ah!
it's sound wise overall
I've been
not
betrayed by my
bad.
constituents.
Um, if you just think about it like a side project, not as the main project, even though it has the main project name. But
Don't
anyway,
get us started on that.
yeah,
We've had plenty of discussions on that. Yeah.
yeah. The third album, in my original like notes before I got any of the questions, I wrote down, "Is this Metallica meets death metal?" And
Uh,
that's kind of the sound I was getting out of this, which was weird but kind of okay. There
okay.
was touches of things in there that reminded me like Flesh God Apocalypse. And I think it was the weird instrumentation that you were getting at
I
times.
could see that. Yeah.
And then the lows reminded me of Metalocalypse's Death Clock, Bat Metal.
There you go.
That's just kind of what that reminded me of. My big issue comes from the lyrical themes. And you and Josh talked about it quite a bit. Like, what are we doing here? Like trying to create an atheist hymnal or something?
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I don't get it. You can kind of pick out some of his thought process maybe with this in his earlier work, like Xenochrist maybe.
Right.
But in the context of the album, are we talking about some outworlder that is, Xeno being outside or other, something like that? Is it talking about that person becoming the savior, or is it talking about him saying, whatever his beliefs are?
Yeah.
And in the context of the album, I lean more towards the first one. It goes with the theme, the book, whatever they went off of. And I just like that ambiguity a little bit better. It's up for interpretation.
True. Yeah.
I've said it before. It's like a good love song. I know we're in death metal. We're talking about love now.
Love.
'Tis the season.
What is love?
True love. Anyway.
True love. Marriage.
But a good love song, you ask yourself, who is this about? Is it about a lover? Is it about a good friend? Is it even about a god or a religion of your choosing? Just, and a good love song, you could really translate it any way you want to like that.
Right.
But we lost all that tact in these last two albums here. So, but the sound was a little bit different. I don't know. It did feel a little more forced than the early stuff. So
it feels a lot like slowed down though at times.
Well, that's the Metallica
there's still
portion,
a
I
little
think.
bit. Yeah. There's still some movement to it, but yeah,
Right.
yeah. Faux show.
That's what anytime metal starts to slow down, I say Metallica. Because that's exactly
Metallica.
Yeah, you look at what Metallica did. They went from this thrash metal thing to some of the cleanest, at the time, very technical, Ride the Lightning stuff.
Right.
And then they slowed down. And then they slowed down. And now they're this chug-a-lugging thing. They got some stuff, don't get me wrong, but
didn't they write a country song in like Load? I think there was like a country song in there that they kind of like label as a country song. I don't know. I could be wrong.
yeah,
Maybe I'm
probably
thinking somebody else.
technically, but
Yeah.
It could be load or reload. Who knows?
I was gonna say, by the time you get to load, it's like, okay, this is not what
Very
we
different
originally
from where we
signed up
started.
for.
Very, very different.
Yeah. Anyway,
So
Faceless.
the Faceless. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's those are my issues with the last couple albums. Is they did slow down. They lost a lot of the technicality of it, and maybe they tried to keep parts of it, but it's like they shoved it in just wherever they could and not where it should be.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, am I wrong about this album? I still got the album on me. Yeah. Am I wrong about this album artwork though? I remember like when me and Josh were talking about the Faceless, I had never listened to them before, and we are kind of gearing up for, doing them in a future episode. And I was kind of looking at their discography. And I always like to look at album artworks first, album names, artworks, and kind of like see what I can kind of feel from it. How do I feel like this is gonna go? And I remember looking at this one and I thought, maybe. Because he had kind of given me a little overview. He's like, yeah, first couple are pretty good. Second two kind of fall off. And there's a kind of a weird time, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, that album artwork's pretty cool. I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'll like it. Nope.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, not my
Did not like
favorite
it.
for sure.
Well, let's talk about
I
your
think
favorites.
what we run into,
Oh, go
my
ahead.
favorite thing, talking about any kind of favorites, my favorite thing is a band that works together collectively. And that is an issue with the last couple albums is we just get Mr. Michael doing whatever Mr. Michael wants to do.
A band divided against itself cannot stand.
And so it
Yes.
shall be forevermore.
And so it shall be. Speaking of favorites, though, Eric.
Anyway,
let us talk about some of your favorites from the Faceless. Album, songs, lyrics, riffs, artwork, so on and so forth. You know the rules to the game, so let's play.
album, first up. I'll go with Planetary Duality. It's got a cool, idea behind it. Follows along with a book, which I've never read, but it does give me pause and makes me want to, actually. It's kind of interesting. I'm not a big sci-fi guy, but yeah,
that
I could
album
get it.
artwor's pretty insane, man.
It's
like,
pretty cool.
There's a lot going on here. Is that a ship?
Yeah,
is that an
a
alien?
lot.
What is that?
Yes.
Very
Just
colorful.
go with yes.
Yeah.
So let's see. Lyric wise, I went off of this one's from Pestilence.
Yep.
Mass hysteria becoming the protocol. Civilizations turn to savagery.
Nice.
And that whole song is a lot of that. A lot of
copy
short little
paste
quips.
repeat. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not the exact words, but it's a lot of short
no,
quips
yeah.
and interesting things that talk about mass hysteria and the
Right.
idea of being sick on mass like that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You know, this was written several years before COVID, and we saw quite a bit of that. They weren't wrong.
They weren't wrong. No,
Hysteria becoming the protocol. Civilizations turn to savagery. Yeah. Anyway,
Insanity.
I digress. Yeah. But so how about those songs? Let's get 3 songs.
Number 3.
Legion of the Serpent.
Legion. Is that from Planetary Duality? I can't remember.
I believe so, yeah.
It was. Look at that. Right there.
Look at us go.
Planetary Duality. We know our stuff.
It helps when I write it down in
2.
my own notes, but anyway.
True.
Number 2 is Pestilence.
That's from oh wait, I thought that was on
Akeldama.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. I don't know why I thought that
that
was
was
on
number 2 on
Planetary
Akeldama.
Duality. This is true. Look at us. We know our stuff, man. We are in the know. Oh boy. Number 1.
Number 1 is Ancient Covenant.
Now that's on autotheism, right?
Definitely not.
No, that's definitely Planetary Duality. I'm looking at that album artwork again. That is crazy. It's like Predator opening up his face.
Yeah. That's what we're looking for, right?
Nice.
Yep, that is
Alrighty.
special.
Final thoughts on the band known as, I almost said Planetary Duality, as the
Close enough.
Faceless.
As a whole, I guess if you're wanting to try the Faceless, hit one of those first two albums. If not, do what you do, man. Whatever.
Do what you do. You can check out Memorial Drive. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. If you're definitely into the opposite end of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
If Michael Keane keeps up, that's actually where they're heading. So,
he's working on a new album.
There you go. It's pop punk. Who knew?
Told you it's the Natural Death cover.
But I think entry point, if you do want to try it out, it's Planetary Duality. I think it's a good mix of what they are, what they're becoming. And from there, you can go either way, see what you like.
Go backwards first. We recommend it.
It is recommended, yes. But
and then cautionly move forward.
Yeah.
I think I just made up a new word, cautionly. That's great.
Close enough.
With caution. The definition of cautionly, with caution. Nice.
And trust alone.
Nice. I like that. Put that in. Let's write Webster's dictionary and see if they can get that in there for us.
Well, that's basically the end of Silverstein. Love with caution and trust alone.
Oh, that's true. True. Dang it.
I haven't had a Silverstein reference in a long time. Had to stuff that in there.
New album coming out this week, buddy.
It is very soon.
Are you excited for it? You're not excited? Okay.
No.
I don't expect anything to blow my mind, but it's supposed to be a 2-part album. Did you hear that?
Yeah. I don't know what to think about that either.
Yeah, so I guess it'll be a second half coming out, I think at the end of this year, maybe. Anyway.
Seems weird.
Yeah. We'll talk about it eventually, though.
They have not blown my mind since 2020, but I digress.
You've blown my mind.
Yeah.
Well, it's been since... I don't know. When did they begin? When were these guys born? No. All right, let's head on out of here, Eric. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at @IsSurvivedByPro for news and the latest episode postings, not just on this show, but our other shows as well. We have the History of the Corps podcast, where me and Josh take a band from the Corps genre. We look at the discography, the member changes, so on and so forth. We also have the Red Right Hand podcast, which has covered all 6 seasons of the BBC/Netflix hit show, The Peaky Blinders. And eventually we'll get that movie out and review it as well. We also have the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which has covered season 1, season 2, eventually season 3 and season 4 of HBO's House of the Dragon. And in 2025, season 1 of HBO's A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure to follow my co-host at Joshua Lynn Gary. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on whatever podcast service you're using. And if you want to listen to us and see our smiling faces, head on over to our YouTube page or Spotify and just search Is Survived By Productions. That'll have every episode from all of our shows. Subscribe to the channel and thumbs up the video. Alrighty, until the next episode where we're talking about a band known as We Came as Romans. We'll see ya.